Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How you all doing? Hope you're doing okay and having a happy Sunday. Alright, so if most of you are following my page on YouTube, I had introduced this book yesterday, and the name of the book is Come Back Old Iron Blue by Elkanah Rule. Come Back Old Iron Blue by Elkanah Rule. So I have to be uploading videos to my page until I have a certain amount of subscribers so I can go live directly from my page. So the introduction of the book is already there. So if you follow my channel, my platform, you will see it. So we're going to delve right into the book. So we're going to start. So chapter 1 is Papi Mac's new car. Chapter 1, Papi Mac's new car. So let's delve right into it. The gentle summer breeze that fanned the nervous, shivering green grass came against their sweating faces, caressing their heated bodies with its cool, balmy air. The putrefying kidney mangoes that scattered along the margin of the nearby roadway filled their nostrils with rustic, teasing scent, rekindling memories of mango seasons of bygone years. On that pleasant summer day when every bird sang, from the distant misty blue mountains, from the distant misty blue hills to Mrs. Clark's honey box mango tree nearby. All the people were happy as they waited in high anticipation. The hours passed away and nothing happened. So the jovial mood gave way to an air of anxiety. The disappointment was evident. It came down like a thick, dark cloud that covered the face of everyone gathered. Yet a glimmer of hope still lingered in the hearts of many. At his home, half a mile up the road, Old Iron Blue pondered the day's activities and its effect on his schedule. So, this is a gentleman that lives up the road. His name is Old Iron Blue. So, we're going to hear what they're saying about Old Iron Blue in a little while. The crowd that gathered some 5 or 6 hours earlier at that time, the crowd, excuse me, I don't know why I'm making so much mistakes. Maybe I'm just a little nervous, excuse me. The crowd that gathered some 5 or 6 hours earlier at that time, they were in a jubilant mood. Now, afternoon was approaching and there was no sign of Papi McDonald and his new machine. So let me pause here. So this story is like back in the day when it's only certain people and certain persons in the community would have a car, or certain persons would have a TV, which was a colored TV back growing up then. And if it's only certain persons in the community have a car, say it's a big thing, And not everybody had colored TV or even had a TV back then. So if you were up, in the community, citizen in the community, and you had a TV, you were looked upon as, someone of high social standing. So, let's continue. It was to be a very special day in the community of Rabbit Wall. All the neighboring communities had their motor cars, trucks and buses, but not a single motor vehicle was in the community of Rabbit Wall. Papi McDonald had gone to buy a motor car and he was going to be a hero in that community. See what I'm saying? He was already respected as one of the better off citizens. With zinc on his roof instead of rough shingles or thatched grass. So you see what I'm saying? So there are certain persons whose house would have been made of a different material than others. So if your house was made of a certain material, you were seen to be like someone of high class. But you know, that's how it was back in the day. Just like how I spoke about the TV situation earlier. Or even phone. Long before Digicel and well, we had, so it was Flow first before Digicel. Long before they came into Jamaica, before Digicel came into Jamaica, we had Lime. And you know, it's only certain people had phones. So back then, you used to have to send telegram or go to the call box and wait in line. You know, but certain persons had their like house phone in their house. Sometimes they go and beg a call or what have you. So those persons would be seen as, you know, persons of, you know, if you understand what I mean. You can say them in Jamaican term them up there. So those were back in the day. But you know, technology has come a far way. Anyway, I don't want to stray from the reading. Alright, so where were we? Alright, so let's start back here. He was already respected as one of the better off citizens, with zinc on his roof instead of rough shingles or thatched grass. He had more animals and land space than anyone else. Now that respect was going to multiply because I'm going to bring in a vehicle. As soon as he was respected, as much as he was respected, he was not the most well-known citizen of his community. Old Iron Blue held that distinction. The name of the infamous Old Iron Blue was known far and wide. Even his dog was better known than most ordinary citizens. Most visitors to the community did not care about knowing Papi Mac or Mr. Turnbull, the school principal, or Pastor Johnson. Everyone who came along wanted to know Old Iron Blue. So Old Iron Blue seems to be a very popular man in this community. Let's go on. Papi Mac was an honorable man. As a motor vehicle operator, he could change the symbol of the district. He would add some prestige. To the area. Every person of note was there waiting for him to arrive with his motor car. Pastor Johnson, armed with his Bible and hymn book, was there waiting to call upon the Almighty to bless the new machine. It being summer holidays, the school principal, Mr. Turnbull, along with some members of his staff, got the chance to be a part of that momentous occasion. History was about to be created, and they had to be a part of it. Mr. Turnbull brought with him a bottle of special wine. You know, some of us sometimes you go to some person's home. Well, I can't talk about Jamaicans. You go to some person's home and they always have a bottle of wine or something put up nicely in the corner on the cabinet or whatever, and they'll tell you that's for special occasions. So I guess in the story, this is what this wine that Mr. Turnbull had was for a special occasion. You know, sometimes people save things and say this is for a special day, maybe birthday, Christmas, you know, anniversary or whatever it is. So persons are like that. Let's start again. So history was about to be created and they had to be a part of it. Mr. Turnbull brought with him a bottle of special wine. He said he would pop the cork at the correct time. He was cracking jokes and looking as happy as a lark. The only people, it seemed, who were not there were Short Boot and his wife. You hear them name, yeah? Short Boot. They trotted past the gathering in their usual manner, with no expression of happiness or grief on their mechanical faces. So they're not smiling. You can't read them face, whether them happy or them unhappy. No one had ever seen that pair walking slowly. They were like the wind, always hurrying by. Short Boot had a little bag at his side, while his wife carried an enormous bamboo basket on her head. Now, isn't this weird? So he has a small bag carried and she has the big basket on her head. You would think that, well, Or they'll be sharing it, both of them would be sharing the heavy load, or you'll be thinking it's the other way around. Anyhow, soon they were out of sight. The people smiled as they expressed the usual sentiment. That pair was really made for each other. As I say, that pair really made for each other. Pappy Mac's wife, Mrs. Mary Ann MacDonald, was also present. She gracefully received the congratulations on behalf of her husband. But perhaps proudest of all was her teenage daughter, Anola. She was specially dressed for the occasion. Her white silk dress bloomed around her thighs, being held in place by, I don't know if you folks can see the picture, just have an idea of the picture. The people standing by, waiting on the car to arrive in the community. Alright, so her white silk dress bloomed around her thighs, being held in place by her stiff crinoline on the dress. Her hairstyle was specially prepared with the latest beaded hairnet drawn over it. Her type of shoes known as backless was just coming into style. She made her steps so conspicuous that no one could miss seeing her shoes. So she makes sure steps so people have to see her shoes. Look down. Miss Joplin Banker, a well-known member of the community, was also present. As usual, she could be seen observing everything and whispering every now and then in her usual manner, with a half-pleased face that belonged to her. But as she stared and observed, her smile could disappear in a flash, and her facial appearance became one of extreme anxiety or sheer bewilderment. Every little event was amplified and magnified on Miss Joplin's face and in her expressions. You could read her mind as she turned the pages on her face. So she's like, I saw the writer saying that she's like a book. Lord my God, what kind of clothes that girl has on, she whispered, almost loudly enough for everyone to hear. I am a Christian child, so help me pray that no breeze blow as she will be tossed into the sky. What kind of cloth they used to blow up her like that? Then look on her shoes. It doesn't even have any back. A piece of it missing. Papi showing a master God world, sir. If a laugh a pop up today, ever your Jamaican say that? If a laugh a pop up today. Poor Miguel, Joplin Banker. It is the new backless style shoes she is wearing, said a lady. Look at her good. The girl blew up as big as balloon. The pretty girl turned herself into a mascot, continued Miss Joplin. In a far corner at the edge of the hill sat Mas Agabus. His attention seemed, boy, these names are interesting, me dear. My goodness, the names are interesting. His attention seemed focused only on his chalk pipe, from which a steady line of nervous white smoke frolicked for a short while in the light wind, and then faded into oblivion. Look! Exclaimed Joplin, directing everyone's attention to the far end of the road. They could not believe their eyes, but it was true. Old Iron Blue, the gourmandizer, was coming, and bouncing merrily behind him was his notorious dog, Bulrush. You want to hear the name of Old Iron Blue dog, Bulrush. His old confident steps. The muscular person advanced. A big man, but he was nearly all muscle with no fatty bulges except around his belly. The size of his belly also gave an indication of his appetite. He was a real countryman, and there was nothing polished about the way he dressed, walked, or the things he carried. But there was something impressive about his physique. He seemed to create the picture of uncultured natural strength. So that means them saying him big and strapping. He came and calmly sat in the grass. He said nothing. But with his comings, things could not be the same. I wonder why they say that now. Sooner or later, he would be caught in some controversy. Every now and then, he glanced grudgingly at the bottle in Teacher Turnbull's hand. So, Teacher Turnbull have the bottle. Remember we spoke about the bottle of wine that they put on for a special occasion. So that means Iron Bull now look on the bottle of wine. As the hours passed, old Iron Blue was visibly getting restless, and also his dog Bulrush, that had been sitting or lying close by all this time. No one had expected that old Iron Blue would attend an event in which no one had expected that old Iron Blue would attend an event in which the cooking and distribution of food was not a part of the activity. So that means them saying old Iron Blue love him belly anywhere food is present. You know, yeah, some people like that. Anywhere food is there present. It seemed, however, that he was not going to allow an occasion when all the members of the community should display true patriotism to pass without his participation. He took his slingshot from his right side pocket, wrapped the rubber properly, and put it back in. His slingshot was mainly used for shooting birds, but at times he used it as a defensive or an offensive weapon, or merely to shoot a ripe mango from a tree. He often fired it, hitting any stray dog that he saw wandering around. But if anyone did that to his dog, he became enraged. No one nobody lick him dog. Old Iron Blue looked around to see if Miss Hemelin, the 9-fingered woman from Top Road, was present. He knew her for a few years, but there was nothing to suggest that she had special interest in him until of late. So he has an admirer. Old Iron Blue has an admirer. Let us see. Most places he went, she would now turn up a few minutes later and clap her bottom beside him. Every now and then she was turning up at his gate, calling and asking for little favors. Old Iron Blue found the situation so annoying that he tried to avoid her. He looked around to see if she was present. Oh my goodness. She was not there. It appeared, though, that he was the only one prepared for a long wait. As he carried his food with him, so he came now to the gathering and he carrying food with him. So they're saying that he carried a large enamel dish with rice and peas. A lot of Jamaicans love them rice and peas, especially on a Sunday. Another with boiled bananas, good Lord, and large pegs of boiled breadfruit. Suspended from his side was a large gallon bottle containing a grayish liquid. It was held in place by a piece of banana string. He had also with him a stained metal bucket with liquid, a motor oil tin, and an enormous wooden spoon. My goodness, you ever see nobody eat so much, man? Mercy me. I bet you guys can't tell me what the gray liquid is. The gray liquid that they say is in the container. Which Jamaican can tell me that? What's the name of the gray liquid? He continued. I will say it at the end when I'm finished reading this chapter. He continued to sit on the carpet of fluffy green grass with Bulrush sitting impatiently beside him. Every now and then Bulrush's eyes would follow the mouth of anyone who appeared to be chewing something. If the person were in fact chewing, the dog would quickly jump up on all fours and stare intently. Intently, pleading with his eyes to get a morsel from the person's mouth. If the person had no pity on him, he would stare fiercely, showing some scary teeth before walking away. If he were given a morsel, he would wag his tail in friendly anticipation. Look at old Iron Blue. Look at old Iron Blue, whispered Miss Jopelin, nudging Seed Cap. You hear this other name, Seed Cap? Boy, these names are interesting. Nudging Seed Cap, a member of the crowd. What a greedy man. In modern times like these, this man is walking up and down the road with his bottle of pot water. So remember I was asking what is it? Who can tell me the name of the grey liquid that the author is talking about? So most Jamaicans will know it's pot water. So when you boil your yam and your banana and you take it out, that water is we call pot water. And most people love to drink them pot water because they claim that the pot water strengthens you. So I've always heard that as a child. And his bucket full of beverage. Who know what they mean by beverage? So the beverage are lime and sugar and water. Or some people use civil orange. They call it sour orange and they mix them beverage and call that beverage. He is gravelicious and craven. I don't think it is him alone eating. Duppy must have eat with him. I knew a man who was just as greedy. No one could understand why he was eating so much until they found out that Duppy was eating with him. But some people say when you eat a lot, then say, I must Duppy eat with him. Old Iron Blue again looked at Teacher Turnbull's bottle. You have a lovely bottle of wine there, teacher, he said, wiping his lips with his tongue as he spoke. So you know what that means? You want some of the wine. Can I have a little to brighten my appetite? He asked before the teacher could confirm that it was in fact wine. Not now, replied the teacher. This wine is to celebrate the arrival of the first motor vehicle in this community. There is a time and place for everything. I will pop the cork as soon as the car comes. So I'm not opening the wine until the car comes. At that time, I will make sure to give you some of this wine. Furthermore, you do not need anything further to stimulate your appetite. That would be disaster for you and a catastrophe for the rest of mankind. You could single-handedly cause a famine in the whole world. Can you imagine what an insult they said to Old Iron Blue? Because he means so much. The teacher tell him, say you could single-handedly cause a famine in the whole world. Only a small amount I need, teacher, he begged. Only a small amount me need, teacher, he begged. Can't you spare a half glass of your wine to open my eyes? Oh God, save a try to sweet up, teacher, though. I see you want to make this into a joke. I need the wine, teacher. Believe me, I need it. And that looks like the real thing. I know that it is good wine. A respectable man as you would not come here with full wine. God, you might try to sweet up, teacher, now. Mr. Turnbull ignored his plea. He forced out a broad belch that caused many people to look in his direction. He nervously glanced up the road to see if Miss Emmeline was again closing in on him. So Miss Emmeline seemed to be a secret admirer. He saw no sign of her. Gas taking up my stomach now. I must eat. Old Iron Blue grumbled, ignoring the stares. As he began eating, Bulrush jumped to his feet and began to wag his tail expectantly. Every now and then his master tossed a morsel to him. He snapped greedily, never allowing it to touch the ground. So the dog is as greedy as Old Iron Blue. The dog kept on full alert until the last crumb was swallowed. He narrowed his eyes in his displeasure and went back to lie on the grass. As Old Iron Blue was preparing to drink from the bottle with the grey liquid, which is the pot water, Seedcap began to question him. "What do you have in that bottle?" he asked. "Is it my splendid pot water?" he replied, staring Seedcap straight in the eyes. "I never eat without drinking some pot water. Pot water is better than any medicine. It is a tonic." So that's why most Jamaicans say that the pot water, because when you cook the food in the pot water, they say all the what would you say now? Protein or vitamin or whatever it is, they say, is in the water. Just like if you steam vegetables and you throw off the water, they say the good part is in the water. So they say the good part is in the pot water. Where are we now? It says, "It is a tonic. You will never have bad stomach if you drink your daily pot water. Strong liquor, I don't drink much, but I never go without pot water. It is fuel to my engine and tonic to my system. All glory and honor to your precious pot water," commended Seedcap. "But what do you have in that bucket?" questioned Seedcap, somewhat amused. Short Boot looked at his wife and appeared to smile as they hurried back in the opposite direction. No one had ever seen Short Boot without his wife beside him. This time, she carried a heavy piece of tree trunk on her head with an axe on her shoulder, and he carried a small bundle of brushwood on his head. So it's always the opposite. The wife, she carried the heavy load and the husband, him carried the small load. So it's a weird couple. "This bucket contains my beverage. I love beverage in summer, autumn, winter, spring, and around the clock. Less than a bucket full has no use to me. I use wet sugar and civil orange." Remember I told you about civil orange? "To make my special brew. This is the real thing. It is stronger than stout and better for your body than Teacher Turnbull's weak wine," advised Old Iron Blue. So him now saying that Teacher Turnbull's wine is weak just because he not get none. You know, say my bad mouth Teacher Turnbull's wine now. Because you can't get, see, same thing, because you can't get Teacher Turnbull's wine to gulp down, you're calling it weak, observed Seedcap. Miss Joplin walked to another section. She used her mouth to point at Seedcap, telling the 3 or 4 people nearest to her to look at his shoes. 20 pieces of wire he used to tie them up, so that their soul don't drop off, she stated. So Miss Joplin seemed to be one of them persons in the community where everybody busy them fast, you know. She has to see everything. So she's that type of character. "How do you know that?" one man asked. "I count them while I was sitting beside him." Same thing. She there busy staring at the man's shoes and talking much wire and used to tie it up. She stated convincingly. I count them while I was sitting beside him," she stated convincingly. "You're not easy, you know. You're not easy at all," the man commented in extreme disbelief. "You're not easy at all. Where she get time to sit down and count how much wire the man up on his foot, have on his shoes?" But some people are like that. Fast, bad. "Teacher, aren't you going to give me a little of the wine, sir?" asked Old Iron Blue, again walking up to Teacher Turnbull. The expression on his face was as if he was going to die if he did not get Teacher Turnbull's wine. "I told you emphatically that it is for a special occasion," replied Teacher Turnbull, raising his brow and widening his eyes. "Rotterdam out his conscience, teacher," shouted Seedcap. So they say Rotterdam out in conscience. That's another Jamaican saying. "Rotterdam out his conscience, teacher," shouted Seedcap. "You may believe that I want plenty, but that is not the case. Teacher, half glass will do me well for the time being. Imagine him one half glass. You must not be so mean, he continued pleading, but his pleas were ignored. So I am going to pause right there, and then when we come back, we are going to read on to see if he actually got the wine and to see if the car actually came to the community, right? So we will pick up from there when we come back again tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks for those who had joined me live. Thank you. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you tomorrow. Hopefully I can be outside. The weather here is rather gloomy. I think we're going to have some rain. So the place is a bit dark. But I hope you enjoyed the story, part of the story. So when we come back again, we will, go delve more into it. All right. So thank you for joining me. You all have a good, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I appreciate your company. Bye. Please remember to like and subscribe to Karen's Vibes on YouTube. Bye.